Here we go, Heli. We are started. We are
Oh,
broadcasting.
great.
And we already see a couple people coming in.
Nice.
Maya, we see you there. Welcome. So glad you're here. Mary. Hi, Mary. Marlene. Valerie. Welcome, you guys. So glad you're here. If you are just joining in and streaming in, we're just going live on the webinar. Hi, Judy. Hi, Katie. Just so you guys know, we can't see you right now. I'm seeing your names come in. Don't worry, I can't see your dogs barking in the background or kitties walking in front of your camera. But you can see us, and we know you're in the room. We see Brenda Jokiselo there. We see a whole bunch of folks joining us. Hey, Risto, welcome. You guys, let us know where you're coming from today. Go over to the chat window. There's a little button on your screen. Click chat, and then tell us where you're streaming in from today. I already see somebody in there. Tell us where you're coming from today. I'm over in Duluth, Minnesota, way up north. Heli's over in New York City. Where else do we have represented? As we're sort of letting people get streamed in here, we're just before kicking off. We want to know where are people coming from. So we see Patricia, Raya, welcome you guys, Jen. Wonderful. So good to have you all here. There's more folks that are going to be just coming in, but please let us know where you're coming from today. Heli, how are things in the big city, the Big Apple today?
Pretty good. It's sunny. It's beautiful. It is the most idyllic, beautiful autumn day in New York, and it's just fabulous here. Yeah. How about there?
So autumn days in New York City are often winter days here in Duluth. So we have snow on the ground, and it's also beautiful, and it's like in the teens. So it's wintry here. We see some folks already chatting into us, telling us where they're coming from. If you're just jumping in, I see Barbara from Astoria, Oregon. Barbara, welcome. You're repping the West Coast here, and keep letting us know where are you guys coming from today. We're just going to get going in a minute or two. It's 11 my time, so people are logging in, getting things going. Marlene, we see you. Marianne, welcome. Melissa, Nellis, so glad to have everybody here. Go over to the chat window. Let us know where you're coming from. This is kind of like sitting around the coffee table, you guys. So literally, Heli and I both made coffee for this. Kind of a lot of coffee because Finns drink a lot of coffee. And so we're going to have a lot of coffee. And so please, as you're joining us, don't feel like you're sitting back and watching a movie and not going to be engaging. Let's talk, let's chat, ask all the questions. I see Delva. Delva, welcome. I see Dwight, Janet, so good. Jim Leary's here. Welcome, you guys. Let us know where you're coming from. Click that chat window, little chat button, and then type in where is home, where are you coming from today. And there's also a Q&A button. Good job. Somebody found that one. Oh, it says my chat is disabled. Oh, thanks, Mary. Oh, man. Risto. It says the chat's disabled. Okay, guys. Here's what we're going to use. Use the Q&A. Tell us where you're coming from in the Q&A button. That is not disabled. So we'll send it via that stuff. So you guys, so glad you're here. We're just a minute from getting going. We already have a bunch of folks in the room. And Valerie's saying she's coming in from Ocean Pines, Maryland. Marlene joining me from Duluth. Jim is in Eugene, Oregon today. And Jen, another Oregonian. We have 3 from Oregon today. Well done. Risto from St. Paul. We have a true Yooper, says Janet, in Houghton, Michigan. And Dalva all the way from Joensuu in Finland. Welcome. Brenda from Minneapolis. Melissa from Stillwater. Oh my goodness, so many good things. Janet says Huva. And our southernmost, Katie from Atlanta, Georgia. So exciting, you guys. We're so glad to be here. So let's kind of dive in. There'll be more people coming along the way. Steve's joining. We got more folks coming in, Cole and Priscilla. So today is all about connecting, chatting, and sort of being around the coffee table together, okay? So we're going to spend the next hour together, and it's going to be very interactive. We're going to invite you to click buttons. We're going to invite you to chat into things together. And you're going to hear a lot from myself and from Heli about the future of FinnFest and things that are sort of happening right now and going on that we are so excited about. But please stay connected during that, okay? I want to introduce my co-panelist here, Heli Sirviö. You guys, we have a heavy hitter with us. Heli comes with just so much wonderful background around all of this. And so Heli she runs the Swedish and Finnish language programs in 4 of the 7 Ivy League schools, so Columbia, Yale, Cornell, and UPenn. So huge sort of academic background, specifically in Nordic culture. And then also, Heli, you're a producer. You love the arts, you love TV, you love theater. You are one who is working with big studios all over the country, all over the world, filming and producing. And so we get to have you be a part of FinnFest as our executive producer. So like, you guys, we get the best of the best to come here and both make the festival authentically supporting Nordic culture and also just the highest of qualities. And so Heli lives in New York City and has been there for 15 years now in the States after growing up. Heli, what an honor to be with you today. Thanks for being here. How are you feeling?
My gosh. Thank you for having me. I'm just so excited to finally meet more of the people who are going to be participating in the festival, in addition to already having, of course, behind the lines working already, of course, with the board and you, Justin, and the board of FinnFest, and Ari, the executive administrator. So everybody, it's so lovely to meet you all. Thank you so much for having this event so that we get to meet and chat. It's very exciting. And yeah, it's going very well. So that's why I'm so excited about today. So just to finally get to talk to people about what all stuff we are doing and planning and what's coming next summer.
Yeah, today's sort of like Christmas morning. We get to like open up a bunch of presents. Like I'm keeping the logo on the screen because I'm so happy about it, and the new brand and all that we're doing is really fun because in many ways this is a new era, but there's been so much work done under the surface, and today we're getting to finally talk about it with folks. And I'll say just quickly too, hi, my name is Justin Juntunen. I am up here in Duluth, and I work running a company called Cedar and Stone Nordic Sauna. So I'm just like getting sauna to people all the time. So that's my goal, is like, I just want to invite 1 million people to sauna in my lifetime, quite literally. And I get to do that from Duluth, the city that I love, that I call home, and where our festival will be in 2023. And also I'm on the executive board for FinnFest. So it's been just a joy, and I'm excited to also get to be here and host with you today, Heli, and connect with everybody in the room. We've had a few more folks come in. So good to see you there, Tia and Sandra, and we got a few more folks coming in. If you want, let us know up in the Q&A where you're coming from today. We are going to be talking a lot about just making sure we're interacting. One way that we're going to do that, and I'm gonna invite you to interact right now, okay? Everybody, this is the moment. I'm going to ask you to click a button. All right. So I want to know, and you're going to see a button come up right in a second here, is, have you ever been to FinnFest before? There are some folks that have and some folks that haven't. And we want to know, go click the button right in there. It's already happening. People are clicking. I have been. The last time I was at FinnFest was in 2008. It was when it was here in Duluth, and they brought Tarja Halonen, the Finnish president at the time. And it was such an honor and such a wonderful thing to sort of have that level of state leader in our hometown, in my hometown, and getting to speak about what's both happening in Finland and what's happening in Finnish America and North America. And so super fun. It's really exciting to sort of now think about having that come back to here. Heli, have you got to enjoy FinnFest before? I kind of know the answer.
Not ever. I never have. And I just tried to answer, and apparently as a panelist, I can't, so I'm not allowed to vote there. But no, I have not, because of my work in Finland. So I'm always spending my summers, up until now, it's been traveling around and being in Finland and Europe. So that's the reason why I have not been able to attend. Your
FinnFest was in Finland at home, and now you're coming back, getting to host it. And hopefully we can get more Finnish folks to join us as a part of it. We have had everybody vote, and here's the results, you guys. We have a bunch of folks who love what's happening here in the room, as I was expecting, because you're on the emails, right? You've done this. 81% of the folks have attended previously. Pat on your back, you guys, all you folks who have been. And hey, we also have 19% of the room who hasn't been, including Heli. So that number is a little more than 19%. You guys, so excited. This is also for you. The festival and what we're talking about is both honoring the folks who have been here for quite literally the last 40 years of FinnFest. It's the 40th anniversary this year, and what is to come. So thanks for engaging. Thanks for jumping in on the poll and engaging along the way. Reminder, use the Q&A window. Now, Heli, let's talk, because here we are in a new era for FinnFest. And we believe Finland has something to say to the world. And we're bringing that up right now because it just seems like there's something in the air, there's something in the news, there's something in the zeitgeist around what's happening in this little country that we love. And would you talk about that for a minute? Would you sort of say what you're seeing and also how we think that's going to weave into the festival?
Sure thing. Yeah, it's one of the most important topics that I feel that we are approaching for next summer is this newly experienced, very broad, across the line, across all different platforms of media presentation of Finland in America. And it has a lot to do with the very unfortunate situation of the war in the Ukraine, which then has forced Finnish politically and diplomatically reassess our position in the world. We have sent our application to join the NATO with the neighboring nation of Sweden. And therefore, the unprecedented times that we are living in also then have given where is that opportunity, the possibility is that Finland is in trade, in diplomacy, in research, in multiple levels. We are reaching out to build with the United States much stronger a relationship than we have ever had before. And we can see that on the news. We can see Sauli Niinistö, the president of Finland, on New York Times, Fox News, CNN, on all these different wonderful outlets where suddenly Finland is gaining visibility. And therefore, then the NATO conversation is something that has been leading to us also think about the festival in a different light. So instead of making it about preaching to the choir, so to say, but also there's a lot of things to learn about this possibility that the NATO membership of Finland will give as an opportunity for Finnish businesses, for Finnish universities, as I learned recently here in New York. We are enforcing collaboration with the United States on multiple fronts at the same time. So that is one of the big things of what Finland might have to say. And I met with our ambassador a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the possibility of looking into bringing in maybe even some high-level Finnish military personnel, military leaders to join in the conversation, talking about NATO with the ambassador, hopefully, or consul generals at the festival. So that would be one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really been, every other week, I feel like I'm seeing a new headline, and I'm seeing it's either, again, related to the war and the war in Ukraine, sort of bringing this up at such a more high level scope, and partnerships between the US and NATO and Sweden and Finland being so there, but it's also all these other things, right? We continue to see Finnish education system being highly ranked. We continue to see Finland being ranked as one of the happiest, if not the happiest country in the world. My feed, of course, is full of all the sauna headlines in the world, and sauna is just growing and growing, and more people are discovering the thing that everybody in this room knows, is that sauna is really lovely and healthy for you and super good. And now it's being studied, and the Mayo Clinic's publishing things. And so we're seeing, again, all these cultural gifts, I would say, being picked up, and more people want to learn about them. And FinnFest for the past 40 years has been a space where we've really set the table to be a spot for that conversation. What would you say, Heli, as we kind of lean in on that? What is your hope for sort of being that cultural communicate? Maybe it's just we're the coffee table, right? And we are the spot to have those conversations. But as an educator, are you hoping that this is a space for us to sort of learn and teach the world about that?
Yes, I do. I do absolutely believe that, because there is no better way than through a very friendly, warm-hearted, joyous gathering where learning can be done at its best. And I feel that on these multiple levels, as saying, for example, the health benefits of sauna that all the Finns know, of course, because that's our go-to for anything. If you have a cold, if you are in love, if you are sad, what do? You go to sauna and you have a cup of coffee, and that's what heals basically everything. But I feel that there is also this about FinnFest, for being the largest gathering of, as I understand, it is the largest single gathering of Finns and Friends of Finland outside of the borders of the Republic. I mean, it is the biggest festival in the world, and it does give, especially right now with this collaboration with the US, say culturally, also say because there's a lot of other stuff besides the political and diplomatical questions about NATO, but Finnish writers. There's a humongously famous Finnish detective novel writer, Max Seek, who has just made a massive deal in Hollywood for the filming of his series of these novels. And we would love to invite him to talk about Finnish literature, because that is on the rise in the US right now. So there are so many levels of learning of Finnish culture and entertainment as well, not just political subjects, but a variety of things. So that's why I'm so excited about the festival that we are putting together now.
I love
many
it.
things. Yeah.
Everybody in the room, here's another moment I want to ask you to type in. What are the things, go over to the Q&A section, what are the headlines you're seeing, or what are the things you're seeing in the news? Because you probably have those in your feed, right? On Facebook or in your local newspaper or on the TV or on the radio, you're seeing some of those things. Are there anything that you've seen recently? And my example is this. So this last summer, right as literally President Niinisto was at the White House 2 weeks before, we had some Finnish journalists come and visit us in Duluth. And it was these journalists who were Finnish, and they were based in New York City. They were covering Wall Street, and they were covering politics for Kauppalehti, Finland's biggest business newspaper. And the reporter was basically like, hey, I want a really good story before I go back home on holiday for the summer. So I'm going to see what's happening around sauna in the US. And he found us because the internet, and he came and visited, and we sauned together, and we jumped in the Lake Superior together, and he visited all these great things going on. And they wrote and ran this article about North American sauna culture, right? It's the Finnish American take. And he said, the good sauna that's happening here, we should learn from that back home in Finland. And I thought, what an honor, right? What an honor to be on the front page of a newspaper during Juhannus and getting to be over there. And so what's funny is I think some of the things happening here are also on the newspapers there. Jan is typing in, she's saying the Houghton Mining Gazette did not cover the journalist visit. Oh no, they didn't. But I'm sure the Houghton Mining Gazette has covered a lot of Finnish headlines over the years, knowing Houghton as one of the sort of locations where you can find Finnish culture really prevalently. And we see Steve Lepolo over there saying Finnish TV shows on Netflix and other streaming platforms. Absolutely. I mean, Heli, that's exactly what you're saying with sort of Finnish noir and some of those other shows. Is there one that people need to go watch, Heli, that you really enjoy?
There's at least, I know that Border Town is huge. And I think that Border Town is on Netflix, and there's, I think, 4 or 5 seasons of it, and everybody loves it. So that's one of my big recommendations. Yeah.
Love it. So as we're thinking about that, right? So now we're talking, hey, everybody's noticing. We believe Finland has something to say to the world, like we said before. As sort of FinnFest has been doing this for the last 40 years, we're so excited. Even with a new brand here, you guys, a new fun graphic design, what we are absolutely doing is sort of bringing the rich cultural history of FinnFest and the way that it has been stewarding that for the past 40 years, that is coming with us. And so folks who have been here since the beginning, I saw one of the comments in there is, I went to a gathering that was even pre-FinnFest at Suomi College. And so that is something that we are really wanting to both honor and continue on. Jim Leary, who's with us, I mean, one of our many historians sort of in the group. told me this quote, and Jim, I'm sorry if I butcher it a little bit, but paraphrasing is, tradition is the past being used in the future for service, or being used in the present for service of the future. And in so many ways, I think that's what FinnFest is saying, hey, what are those ways that we can learn from the immigrant past here of the Finnish diaspora to the North American continent, the North American cultural heritage over the years, and how can we sort of turn that focus to also what's happening in the modern world in Finland, and not just a celebration of what was, but also what is in both places. And that is something I'm particularly engaged with and thoughtful about, because my whole work life is introducing the cultural gift of sauna to people, and introducing it to more people than have last names like Juntunen, like me, and trying to get this into a space that does not lower the quality, but actually invites more people into it. And so one of my hopes in this whole process would be we can have FinnFest speak more and more to the friends of Finland, to the folks who are interested in Finland, the folks that want to learn from Finland and Finnish culture and Finnish American culture. And I think that's going to be a really important turn, because my grandparents have loved FinnFest, and they are getting older, and it's harder to get to FinnFest, even if they're closer to where we are today. And so more folks like me, and with my heritage, and more folks who are interested in Finland need to continually be invited. Heli, as somebody who grew up in Finland, then came to the US as an expat, how do you feel about that sort of answer of, like, basically, how are we speaking to more folks than just sort of that Finnish American immigrant past, to infuse that into what's happening in the conference and the gathering? What are those things that you're excited about sharing with more folks who maybe have moved to the US?
I feel that for us who are expats, we have such a close memory of Finland. So the nostalgia aspect is not so strong. It's much more active relationship still with past classmates that we have left behind, cousins. It's a very active, so to say, relationship to that one foot, or at least couple of toes that are still resting on that side of the pond. But then when building towards the friends of Finland that we've made here, and whom we encounter in America, who might be interested with various reasons. One of those paths, I do feel that because of the media visibility that we do have, and the insanely beautiful reputation that Finland, as a small and very tenacious and forward-thinking country, nation, has, and the trustworthiness of Finns, that is also one of the things of specifically about the people. So with that combo, I think that there's a lot of interest of, like, what is this country? Like, how do you guys do it? First of all, politically, diplomatically, but also with innovation of startups. And I mean, Angry Bird. I mean, there's so many things that people just go like, wait, what is this country again? And if I think about whatever right now has been bringing Finland to the top, say, yes, the happiest nation in the world by the UN standards for 5 years in a row, the least corrupt, the most trustworthy, the most freedom of the press, freedom of speech, things that also Americans as values do hold very close to them. And then one of the big ones that we are a leading nation in the world is sustainability and clean thinking and green tech. And that is one of the big steps, heaping steps that Finland is taking right now, is we have made the commitment that the country is going to be carbon neutral by 2035. And there is a lot of that kind of flagship position for sustainability that is very alluring for younger Americans. I feel that many of my students in my classrooms, say at UPenn or Columbia or wherever, everybody's talking about this. There's like that idea of making world a better place with something that can be innovative and done together, is quite inviting for many of the Americans. So for example, there's a platform to bring that conversation to the American people, friends of Finland and Finns here in America. So FinnFest would be a wonderful platform for that as well.
I think you're peeking into what we're going to be working on and programming for the festival. Yeah. And so as our exec, what a transition. Your executive producer here leading us into this. And I think that's absolutely right, that we want to sort of be holding on to the cultural traditions of the past that we can learn from, we also
Yeah.
want to be grabbing what's happening in the modern Finnish world and saying, hey, look at all these things that also folks want to learn from. And we want to have all those discussions at FinnFest, right? We want to have all of those things be happening there. And I think there's more folks that are going to be interested when we do bring all those things to the table. So today, we are going to give you an overview. This is quite literally an appetizer of the things and the topics that we're going to be talking about. And so we won't be giving you what time the workshop is happening or which room it will be in, because we're a little far out from that right now. Some of those details are still going to be coming, but we want to give you some of those previews of the areas we're going to be discussing and inviting you to, you guys are everybody on this call, you actually get the best rates for registration. Registration's now open. And so today it's getting the first people in the door, it's introducing it, it's telling people about it. But let's go, Heli, let's talk a little bit. What are our big topics? And I'm going to move to the slides so you can just read them right off here.
Oh,
but
yes.
tell the folks, what are we going to be talking about? What are the main focuses?
Well, yes, as we're seeing here. So yeah, already bridging into this subject from my previous answers. So sustainability being one of them. Finland being one of the leading nations in the world on clean tech, green tech, sustainability thinking. On various fronts, we have already such publicly traded companies like Wärtsilä or Neste that are operating heavily in the United States markets, and their fields are not necessarily the greenest ones. We are looking at shipping industry and ports, and then we're looking at oil. But also these companies do very heavily invest into wanting to make the world a cleaner, greener, better place. So they are pushing for that research together with American businesses. Then there are Finnish small startups that are coming to the market during this time now. So we'll be looking into that, the sustainability thinking, and then how us Finns, we have a very different kind of nature relationship than I feel many of the people who grow up in big cities, for example, would have. Finns have a very close nature relationship, and we hold it dear, and in actuality, in everyday life, it manifests for Finns. So that is one of the approaches. Then health and wellness. Well, as we spoke already earlier, for example, sauna, the one of the most oldest, most permanent parts of Finnish everyday culture that we hold so close to our hearts, that just now is starting to spread globally in the understanding of how immensely important it can be for your health. How good is it? So health and wellness, one of those. Also, Finnish food that we are currently a little bit talking about also with our representations at Washington and LA and here in New York. What kinds of food businesses, food industrial startups could we bring, just so that we could have, for example, at the festival, not just at DEC, but maybe in the little restaurants and cafes, some healthy Nordic snacks for the week when FinnFest is happening, some kind of a Nordic theme going on. The social programs, so then maybe, Justin, you have a better idea for what all that could be for us still right now, because we're looking back into the history, and the social programs, I do understand, have been a big part of all of the past festivals as well, and we want to absolutely maintain those and bring
it's going to be
more.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, right? It's it's both academic and inspirational and fun, and food and sauna and gathering and community. Like we get to put all those things together. And I absolutely love it. And just to sort of take that next step, one thing that I love about this place is it is a place that has a lot of Finnish immigration and Finnish heritage. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. One of those ways is actually through architecture and design as one of these main kind of points here, with practicing architects who have been influenced by some of the greats of Finnish design. I'm currently in a building right now. Our design studio and offices was designed by David Salmela, and many folks on this call are sort of who have been following Finnish American work and his work over the past few decades. And so I think that would be a thing that, if you're interested in everything from sort of those cultural components to sort of the modern days of, well, hey, what does it look like to think through a Finnish lens in terms of design? We are actually going to have tours, architectural tours throughout Duluth up the North Shore, both thinking through cultural history moments as well as design and architecture, which I think a lot of folks are going to say, oh my goodness, I've always wanted to be in a space like that. I've seen the book, and now I want to go be in that in person, the award-winning architecture that's really beautiful. So absolutely. So Janet's asking a really good question here. And first off, Janet, thanks for using the Q&A. I want to hear from other folks. What questions do they have about programming?
Yes.
Please feel free, drop that in right now. We're not saving a bunch of time at the end for Q&A. We're going to do it right in the middle here. So we'll pause and take a breath, sip our coffee as you guys are asking good questions. So ask those in. Janet's asking, will Finnish educational system be included in the social program area? Absolutely, Janet. There's actually going to be, so FinnFest runs over the course of a long weekend. And on Thursday of that weekend and Wednesday of that weekend, there's actually some longer symposium events. And on Thursday, there's going to be a whole day long opportunity. And this is kind of diving into more detail than we're working on, but we're going to do a whole day of Finnish educational programming. And so folks who are educators in the US, folks who are learning and wanting to learn from the educational system there, we're going to be bringing folks over, and some of the experts here in the US who know that, they're going to be talking about that and teaching about that and engaging people on that. So absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Other folks, Catherine saying rockabilly webinar during COVID was very interesting. Maybe revisit that. Awesome. One, thank you to folks who are joining us on Zoom. There are going to be a whole lot more of these monthly leading up to the conference, and you're actually going to be hearing from, so we've laid out some of these key pillars of content. You're going to be hearing not just from Heli and I, but from the key leaders of these areas, getting that preview, getting that appetizer on each of these areas before that conference actually starts. So we want to keep providing more of that, keep gaining interest, keep inviting people to be a part of it. And that is going to be coming in the months ahead. So look forward to that. You're going to see more emails and scheduling opportunities for that stuff. I also want to hear in the chat window, what are people just like excited about? What are they hoping for? Are there things that in the past at FinnFest that you've just absolutely loved in the programming side that you want to see happen again? Let us know. We would love, love, love to hear that. That would be something that for us, we want to, again, keep drawing on the past, knowing that this is our 40 years. We're not giving up on any of those 39 years prior. We're saying, how do we take the best from them and keep going? So Heli, as you think about that, I think sometimes it comes up of what about, the tori? What about the dancing, the food, all the sort of moments like that, the opportunity to enjoy sauna as a part of it. What are you looking forward to? You've got to come be in this little town of Duluth. What are you looking forward to coming back and spending a week here with us?
I think that for me, whatever, putting together this program with the board and with, of course, collaborating with colleagues in Finland and here in the US. So I think that my focus is going to be attending, of course, the panels, but then, as I said earlier, so then also getting to go to Tori and see all the Finnish entrepreneurs who are bringing who will have their booths for several days. So just to get acquainted with them and just to have that overall look of representation of Finnish America, I think that's going to be very intriguing for me, because as I said, I have never attended FinnFest before. So it's going to be a learning experience in that sense of meeting the people who are actually collaborating with us, and then the attendees as well. And looking forward to seeing the city of Duluth, because the vibe that I got, because I visited Duluth, as Justin knows, but just for everybody to info. So we visited in the very early summer in Duluth for 2 days, and the vibe in the city is so cool, because it's what was that, what you said that the governor had said? No, wait, it wasn't governor. She was she the mayor? What did she say about it? Because that was such a beautiful.
Well, you guys, we're hearing from, Heli from the Big Apple, right? She's the metropolitan city, and she came to Duluth and she said, I loved how connected it was. I love the scale of it. And I said, one of my favorite quotes and descriptions of Duluth is and I heard this from the mayor in one of her early campaigns as a city councilwoman. She said, Duluth is a city on a human scale. And it's this idea that, right, we have all the amenities of the city, and also we have all the connection of the small town because it's on that human scale. That feels very Finnish to me. That feels very sort of like connected, walkable, understandable. You can know the people, you're not in a large area. And so that's something that, you know, we're going to talk a bunch more about Duluth in a minute, but absolutely we can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, but there is this, the thing that made an impression on me is coming there. For example, DEC, the Duluth Entertainment and Convention Center, modern, huge. It's state of the art, everything. It has a massive, beautiful movie theater where we can show Finnish films. It has the concert hall where we can have the most beautiful concerts by musicians, and the Tori area. And then all of this it's like a beautiful machine working so smoothly. And then you walk across the bridge and you're in the city center, and there's little cafes and restaurants and art centers, and it's everything is there. So it's so compact and welcoming. And at the same time, it has this beautiful, smaller city kind of a vibe where it's very vibrant, but it's not disturbing. So that was, and when I've been talking about FinnFest, so for Finns who follow Finnish culture in the summer, so there is something called Suomi Arena, Finland Arena, Suomi Arena, that happens every summer. So it's a get together of politicians, entertainers, cultural influencers. Everybody comes together to the city of Pori, not to Helsinki, not to the big city, but to a little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable, that then really can lift up that platform for the people who show up. And it's the biggest cultural event of the summer anywhere, undoubtedly in Finland, is Suomi Arena. So I have been making the reference that we want to build FinnFest towards that Suomi Arena of the North Americas. So that is then Duluth. That's why it's so cool to have it there. I think it's a perfect setting. Yeah. I
love it. We have some folks saying about programming options there and things they're excited about. Marlene, great comment here. One is about the relationship between Finland and the Sami people, right? And the FinnFest has had a long-standing now kind of engagement with thinking through not just Finnish culture, but also Sami culture as a part of FinnFest and as a part of that, and the indigenous folks there. Absolutely, that will continue to be a part. And here in Duluth is the North American Sami Cultural Center. And so absolutely, there's going to be that integrated for sure. And Marlene saying, hey, also, what about the Finnish government? That also comes up again, and a couple other people talking about Minnesota very recently, even with our governor, Tim Walz, who just got reelected, has had now a long-standing relationship with Finnish business and Finnish government. And so there's been multiple different trips over the past couple years, and that will continue, where we're going to keep working with them both to bring over Finnish businesses to be a part of that, to be a part of FinnFest, to continue to strengthen those relationships. And also on the side here, as we're thinking specifically around Minnesota as a location for it, Risto is actually asking about that as well. What about these sort of US-based Finnish organizations? How can we get involved? How can we promote the Finnish Chamber here in the Twin Cities, other organizations all over? I will say my goal for the festival, the last time it was in Duluth, it was the biggest festival. I want to beat that. I want this to be the biggest again. Our goal is inviting 12,000 people here to the city. And so Risto and everybody on this call, absolutely, let's find ways to share, reshare, invite, reinvite, and continue to promote, because if Finland has something to say to the world, we want more people to know about that. And so in any location where you have a network, we're going to say, please, 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 over the next 6 to 8 months here, be sharing, be talking about it with family members, coworkers, businesses. Absolutely. So love that. Jim Leary's talking about programming as well. Jim is one of our key board members who also thinks about cultural traditions through folklorists and traditional arts. There's going to be a lot going on there, especially with his relationships with the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And Jim is saying, hey, we're also going to have a panel on country music in Finland. I cannot wait for the folk fun that is going to come from Jim's partnerships and Jim's people and Jim's connections around those kinds of things. And so there's going to be a whole lot going on there. And I know some folks are going to be excited about that. Janet's hoping for demos of looming and making rayas. And I would say, Janet, we need to talk to Jim about that. We actually have a lot of stuff thinking there about from making himilis to traditional arts and crafts. There's definitely going to be some stuff going on there. And Barbara's asking, will there be a way to meet or re-meet with Finnish chapters or people from around the US? And I would say, yes. There's always at FinnFest, usually representation from multiple different Finnish organizations. And that could happen in the Tori, where there's folks are having a booth and a table, and there's sort of spots where you can get connected and you can get connected to different chapters. And that could be, FinnFest is a great gathering place. And so if you are a part of some of those chapters or some of those organizations, well, create extra time for yourselves to have those meetings and those gatherings of folks that you're wanting to meet and wanting to see and wanting to reconnect with. So absolutely, that's a great spot to meet and re-meet with folks that you're wanting to spend time with. We want to sort of set the table, and there's going to be a lot of programming, there's going to be a lot of stuff, and we know that there's going to be a lot of stuff that just develops pretty naturally outside of the actual sort of festival schedule. So we've really worked through a lot there.
By the way, just let me interrupt just for a sec, because the Sami question is quite interesting, and it is such a burning topic today in today's Finnish news. Just as we are doing this webinar, there are blasting news of the Sami question in Finland, as well as there has been, of course, the indigenous question in the United States. So it's a soft announcement because nothing has been yet signed under, but we are talking, there is a Finnish-American film that actually was produced by Solar Films, which is one of the biggest production companies of Finland. And the director, the lady who directed the documentary just very recently, is an American lady. And so Solar Films from Finland produced something that was made about the water and the sustainability and women of Little Rock. And this film, when it's a Finnish-American collaboration, would be of great interest for us to be able to show it and to have the director and maybe even a few of the indigenous American ladies who are portrayed in the documentary to join FinnFest and have a Q&A. And then we have the Finnish Sami artist, Pauliina Feodorov, who has been now presenting in the Venice Biennale as part of the official representation of the Nordic booth that for the first time was ever given to Sami artists. So Finland, Sweden, Norway made a joint effort, and they gave up their own individual country booths, and they made one huge booth for 3 Sami artists, one from Finland, Pauliina Feodorov, and then one from Sweden, one from Norway. And we are in talks with Pauliina to get that same presentation that has been a huge hit in the Venice Biennale to come to FinnFest, so that she could also talk about sustainability and nature from the Sami point of view. So that would be a huge interest for us. And we are really hoping, because we are seeing the feedback from also the people who will attend FinnFest, that this is a very interesting topic and very important topic. So we want to do our best to try and achieve a good presentation of also the Sami culture and the indigenous culture for the FinnFest goers. And we will keep you updated as soon as we know better and more. But this would be a very big interest for us. Yeah.
Love it. Great talks there. Good job, everyone, talking about those things. One other sort of area of questions, both Janet and Cole and Priscilla are asking. This is a question for you, Heli. Any sort of info that we can learn already around music and arts? They're specifically saying, wait, what about our Finnish composers, conductors, symphonies? And I know some of that's still in the process, but what do we know and
works.
What
Yes.
can we say?
So we can say we are actively in the talks of getting classical music and that presentation happening there. So as soon as we know and we can confirm, because these are big things to agree upon, and we're a little early still. So we are hopefully, say, by early 2023 we will have confirmation on that. But yes, good, yes, absolutely on the talks, and
Yeah.
let's see what we land if that. And then we have another one is a Finnish pop rock music star who has been one of the biggest Finnish, well, music performers, rock pop performers, but also international movie star for decades, who would be one of our then headliners if now we just get the schedule together, so that is also on the other end of music. So we have classical and then we have popular music, both, hopefully landing soon. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have Steve asking a little bit and saying, hey, one thing that attract both older and younger Finns more than ever is genealogy. And I love that. I'm a geek around those sorts of things as well. I do know there's been some discussion around that, and a few folks who have been sort of highlighted as, hey, to lead a few of those things. And I would think that's very much going to be in a few key areas, is having ways for folks who, maybe you have genetic background and family ties to Finland. What are those ways to see and find more resources? How do we learn from folks who have done all that work, who have gone back in and seen those ways to do that? And I think it's really important. People want to know, they want to know where they come from, where they belong, right? And as we think about it from a Finnish American perspective, I'll speak kind of just for me as somebody who's grown up in a little Finnish community in northern Minnesota. And with that cultural heritage and history, it's always been something I've been really proud of. I think that the Sisu in me and the Sisu in our family has sort of carried that stronger, and it hasn't left. The cultural traditions have not left, even after multiple generations. And so ways that we can sort of continue that and get that information and get those ways that we can teach younger folks and introduce younger folks to ways that they can care more about that past, feels really important. I think if there are folks, if you're passionate about that, come reach out and let us know. I mean, there's absolutely opportunity there to create some space and more spaces for that. Absolutely. So good stuff, everyone. Good stuff, everyone. And we do have an all-day event. Oop, I'm seeing somebody. Here we go. An all-day, another one of our symposiums on that Thursday is really just geared in towards genealogy. So that's like a full day diving into, we said there's education, there's genealogy. There's going to be a sauna one too. I'm helping with that one. That's going to be really fun. So there's a lot going on, and in some ways we can't get into all of it right now. Unfortunately, there's too many good things that's going to be happening. We can't tell you all of it right now. And we want to make sure we're keeping going on time. Great work, everybody, sending your questions in, your thoughts in. We're going to keep going here on our next section, because we kind of also have a big announcement. So as we go, we are going to talk a little bit, and we were opening the door here to this a little bit ago, saying, hey, it's going to be in Duluth. And I am excited about that. Duluth is home for me. I'm excited about that because Duluth has a really significant history of Finnish immigration. It was one of those sort of gateway cities, right? If you came over in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you probably stopped by New York City, where Heli is. You probably came up through the Great Lakes, maybe stopped off in Michigan for a while, up in Houghton with a few of our friends there. And then you quite possibly ended up in Duluth on your way out to Astoria, Oregon, where we have other folks on the call. And Duluth at the time was sort of this cultural gateway city. It was called Little Helsinki to most folks. We're going to sort of talk a lot about the history there for that. And over the last 40 years, FinnFest has done an amazing job of basically taking the show on the road and going to all those cities, and the cities like we just described and the small towns that we just described that had pockets of Finnish immigration and Finnish culture that we could celebrate in those locations, which is so good and was so needed. It was such an honor to say, let's bring it to those towns and cities and locations where there are seeds in the ground of Finnish culture. And to run a big cultural festival takes a lot of work. And so we saw that that was really difficult at times, and we leaned on local volunteers and local community, which was super wonderful. If you were a part of that, we want to say publicly, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the work that's been done over the last decades. There are so many in the room who we can't even thank enough in person, but we will continue to thank of getting FinnFest to where it is today. And as somebody who's on the board, I want to say and announce publicly that we are going to do more than just have seedlings in the ground. What we want to do is we want to see FinnFest have deep roots in the ground. And some of the ways that you do that are through community partnerships, through locations and venues and businesses in an area that support the festival happening and growing, and creating opportunities for those to also invest in the organization of FinnFest and invest in the fundraising that FinnFest needs to operate healthily, and to create a handful of people who create this thing and make it happen at a really high, excellent level. And so one big announcement that we're going to say right now is Duluth will be home to FinnFest for the next 5 years. So there's been a commitment and a vote from the board to say, hey, if this thing's going to grow and continue in the direction and the level and the way that we want, let's make a commitment for a while to make a place that is home, and to do that really well for that amount of time. And I am, as somebody who is on the board, I'm excited about that, but I really think it's a strategic move. It's not just because it's in my backyard, it's a strategic move to say, how can we make this experience the South by Southwest of the North, if you know that sort of festival, or the Aspen Ideas Festival that's in the mountains on the lake. And we are going to invite more folks to be a part of this than have ever been a part of it. And so, one logistical thing that's a win is you get to book your tickets now for the next 5 summers, right? You get to put it on your yearly calendar rhythm of saying, let's keep coming back to Duluth in a place that has a rich history, a place that's welcoming to us, a place that the city of Duluth is backing what FinnFest is doing. We're super excited to be receiving allocations from the city of Duluth. There is a significant component to this. Big thanks to Emily Larson, our mayor, and our administrators and our city council for saying, hey, we believe in this and we believe in what's happening. We're going to invest in it. And those are things that's going to make FinnFest continue for longer in an even more significant and healthy way. So as I say that, that's maybe news to a lot of folks. That's hopefully exciting to many folks. Our hope is going to be that we're going to make this even better over the long haul for that. Heli, as you think about that, as somebody both new to operating on FinnFest and also sort of being in here, we were talking before about this city on a human scale. What excites you, and what are you thinking about of kind of creating a home and landing in a place for a while for FinnFest?
I think that the most exciting part of that is, as you said, creating those collaborative possibilities with the little businesses, with the operatives who are helping us in Duluth, in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. So it is one of the important partners for the country of Finland is the state of Minnesota, but also for us as a festival. I think that in order to have that continuity in there with volunteers, with possible business interests, with how to make the festival even broader and somewhat less needing to push it, so that it is the kind of a routine that, okay, this is that week of summer and that it's FinnFest week. So it will become that kind of automation, hopefully, that then also broader audiences will be drawn to it. That is definitely a hope. And I think that also with the huge thanks, because, it is a very grateful position to be in, to be able to build FinnFest forward with you guys now, board and everybody who is volunteering and giving their time and effort into wanting to develop the festival. And that is only possible with this kind of ease because of all of the work that has been done in the decades and decades past by all of the people who have made FinnFest. So it is a huge festival, as said, already. And then that's what I'm looking forward to is meeting with these people who have been so much putting of their Finnish heritage and cultural love and their vision of what can Finnish America be, and then finding a way to build together with them. So that's my big hope, is that now that we know that we're going to be in Duluth for all these decades past have been around, and then all these years to come in Duluth. So then that collaboration will open up a whole new bag of opportunities and possibilities. And that's what I'm really excited about, to meet with the people and talk about that. Absolutely. We are excited to have you. And I just sent it over in the chat window, so you guys should be getting a little link there. If you want to know a little bit about Duluth and Duluth's Finnish history, I suggest go click over there. We do a lot of work for our company on YouTube. It's a spot that a lot of people watch. They watch things now. That's the TV for folks in my generation. And this little video sort of highlights both a wonderful sauna in our backyard. So if you just want to geek out about sauna with me, that's there. But it also talks a lot about
the cultural history of sauna and of Finland here in Duluth. And so if you're interested in that, if you want to know a little more about Duluth, I mean, we have so much thoughts there and we got so much that we can talk about, but we're opening the doors and we are rolling out the red carpet, and both from the city and the organizations that we're working with and the businesses that we're working with to make the festival great in the years to come. Now, we've said all of this. What we need to do is invite you to be a part of it and to register and to share it with more and more people. And so we are going to do that. I want to highlight for everyone that registration is now open, that our goal is going to be to invite you to be a part of this festival in such a real way. I'm going to have you check it out right here. So here is our, let's see, let's bring it up here. Technical difficulties for just one more sec. Here is our new FinnFest invitation to have you come in. And that I'm going to send it in the chat. So if you want to pull it up on your device, or if you want to check it out right here. So here is FinnFest. We are just 248 days away, everyone, from it launching in July 26th through the 30th here in Duluth, Minnesota. And so this is, and we really believe this, North America's premier experience of Nordic culture and learning. And so that's what we're creating. We're creating a space for that. These are going to be moments for you to kind of come in and see, this would be the thing to share. This would be the thing to follow along on. Here's sort of another look at some of what's going on and what we're up to. Hey, there's my dear friend, Steve Sokola. I don't know if anybody in the room probably knows Steve. Tremendous local musician up here. And a little bit of an overview of what our days are going to hold while you're here. And so come in, see what's going on Thursday, see what's going on Friday, and getting to be a part of this. These will be, the details here will continue to get more and more. There's going to be so much more detail that's going to become around it. But we want to invite you to be a part of it. We want to invite you to learn and volunteer. We want to invite you to attend and bring the whole family, the whole neighborhood, to bring all these folks to be a part of this. Look at that cute kid. If you have a cute kid like that in your life, that little guy, his name's Charlie, by the way, come be a part of FinnFest and bring all the family, bring the kids. This would be your spot. And right on the website, there's a register now button. And so I want to highlight that. You can get your tickets right now. There's a number of different pricing tiers. So here's a couple things, the real detail stuff is one, like most festivals, we are now in the early access stage, right? This is the cheapest time to get the tickets. We want folks to do that and make their commitments now. If they know they're coming, if you've just been waiting, if you've been like, when can I register so I can also get my hotel and get all that stuff done? Now's the right time. You can reserve your spot. And we are in that sort of early bird pricing right now. And that's going to go until January 15th. And then there's going to be some continuing steps each 3 months before we get to the festival. That rate will go up a little bit and a little bit more so that more folks will be a part of it. And those last minuters, they're booking, it's going to be a little more expensive for them. So if you want to be a part of it and you want to come, we'd love to have you invest and be a part of that. Now, the other thing I'll say is if you are a member of FinnFest, you also get a 20% off your tickets with the promo code you receive. So you can reach out here. There's a bunch of details here. There's a way to join, all those things. And we do have rates for single day passes to the festival, student rates, and child rates for the festival. So there is a lot going on here. We want to get this out to you. So please head over to the website for that. That link is there. You're going to get a follow-up email with all these links and a recording and all the details here as well. So don't worry, all that stuff is coming. And Heli, do you have anything to say about sort of those details of registering and being a part of this? Are there any details there that people need to know?
Nothing that comes to mind right now. I think that this is relatively straightforward. As the earlier you register, the cheaper it is going to be. And then just really looking forward to seeing everybody at the festival. So that is very exciting that we have now our registration is open and we are starting to actually see our people come into the festival and join us. So that's the big relief for all of us, because it has been quite exciting to build this together. So now we are in this stage and yeah. That's all I have.
Head over to 2023.finfest.us for all of those details. Register now. And thank you so much to everybody who's been here What other questions? Are there any other questions? We got a couple minutes left on things. I'd love to hear if there are any things that people are asking about, talking about before we wrap up, but we're gonna end on the hour. So thank you for being here. We have folks over here saying, hey, I also think Finland has been on the forefront of physical fitness, exercise, cross-country skiing. Oh my goodness, absolutely. We're all watching the Olympics and seeing all those Nordic skiers out there with blue and white on. Absolutely, there's going to be focus there. Asai Nordic, a movement that's been curated and created in Finland. That we're going to have representation for that and teaching around that. Absolutely. There's some more conversations here. Ooh, a couple big names. Can you get Esa-Pekka Salonen or Ismo Venska? We hope. I think Osmo is on I think he's on a little bit of sabbatical. He just got done with like a 20-year tenure in the Twin Cities. But we'll see. There's a lot of conversations around those kinds of things.
We're talking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're talking.
And then Maria has a really good question, Justin, here. I'm seeing about writing an article about Duluth and the festival for the SAM magazine for the spring issue.
Please, Maria, please, anything that we can get, PR, press, public media, those types of things, we're absolutely wanting to look into that, and we're wanting to create around that. I will say we're a small team. We're a small nonprofit. We're a small, mostly volunteer-led organization. And so any ways that you see opportunity, and if you have space to help that opportunity come to fruition, please, we want your support. We want to work with you on those kinds of things. And Mary is also saying, who do you contact to volunteer? Ooh, great question. Any of the emails would be great. All of the contact stuff that's on the website, please reach out if you have any interest there. There are some buttons on there already that talk about volunteering. Is there anything specific around volunteering, Heli, that you're thinking about or that we need to know right now at the beginning?
Right now, nothing yet specific about that. Once we get a little bit farther ahead in setting up for the volunteering, so we can definitely set up an info package about that. There's a contact info question. So Maria, I already sent to you mine, which is executive producer at FinnFest.us. And then Justin, please write yours as well so that we will have
And one area that would just be great is if, we will triage the messages, we will get the messages to the right people. So also, if you go over to admin@finfest.us, that's going to be the sort of main mailbox to get anybody the right details. Our board chair is going to be also kind of stewarding that, managing that, Marianne Wargelin. And so, reach out in all the ways. All the details are on the website. Those things we want to be talking with folks. We know we're going to be talking with folks from all over the country, all over the world for this event. So we'd love for you to be a part of it and reach out to us if you have any questions, especially on registration stuff. That's great.
And Valerie, I'm seeing your question here about the shuttle service available if flying into Minneapolis or needing a car. So what I'm thinking is that because we, of course, given that talk that we just had about the sustainability and green thinking, so also if people can carpool, that would be wonderful. So I'm thinking that maybe through social medias, we can even set up a possible platform for FinnFest in Facebook for people to connect with each other saying, hey, who's going? And then, if multiple people are arriving around the same time, just to carpool together, that would be probably available for everybody. And I think that it is a possibility of needing to rent a car, but we haven't yet talked about a shuttle possibility as well. So maybe we can look into that. Yeah.
And I'll highlight on that for you, Valerie. One, you can fly into Duluth, so check flights. See both of those things. Sometimes if folks are getting to Chicago, it's super easy to go Chicago to Duluth direct, as well as Minneapolis. And there are daily shuttle services from Minneapolis to Duluth that already go. So we don't even need FinnFest specific ones. There are shuttles and buses that do that drive. It's about 2.5 hours, so it's not too far. It's a really beautiful drive. You just kind of head up through the woods on I-35. And so that'll be great. Good question, Valerie. Are there hotels within walking distance of FinnFest? Absolutely. Our main location will be at the Duluth Entertainment and Convention Center, right in the heart, right on the harbor. And there are no less than 7 hotels within walking distance, all at, you know, sort of various locations, price points, amenity levels. And there's other housing in the city too, from your Airbnbs to your college residence halls for a little more discounted, to your, you know, nice hotel with a beautiful view of the lake that you're going to also invest a little more in. So absolutely lots of housing options. There are some key components, and we'll be talking about this with folks soon, because it's summer in Duluth. Summer is a busy time in Duluth, and we have a lot of tourists there that will be coming to be a part of both our festival as well as all the things happening in Duluth. It'll be helpful to get those reservations a little ahead of time. So don't wait on those, and we'll be sending out more details around specific hotel partners along the way. Catherine has a great question. I'm already a member. Will the discount be mailed to us for registration? You bet it will. And we'll be sending that out this week. There should be details around that for you if you are a member. And it is just a simple promo code to add into that registration, and that'll provide you the discount. So absolutely. All right.
And there's Mary's question about contacting to volunteer. So I just want to be sure that I'm giving the right email address at info@finfest.us.
Thank you.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So then, or myself, you know, also at executive producer, and I will forward it once we have the volunteer registration running up. So then we will have everything directed to the correct people in their end. Yes.
All right, friends, what a joy to be with you for an hour today, to cast a whole bunch of vision for what is to come and for the new era of FinnFest and the continuation and celebration of 40 years of FinnFest. Heli, thanks for joining us all the way from New York City today and being a part of this.
Thanks for having.
And everybody who joined, we are recording this. We'll send out a recording. I saw the best comment in here that was, hey, I just got in a little late. It was sauna night last night. Can I watch the recording? Absolutely. Glad that you got to sauna last night and sleep in a little bit and get into this. We will be sending out this recording. You'll get a link to that in your email, to folks who registered and attended and folks who registered and did not attend. So tell all your friends. We can't wait to see you in Duluth. Thank you so much, you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Justin. Thanks for hosting.